Hey everyone, so welcome back to another video regarding the stock update for 7th of July. We're talking about some earnings today, which is coming in from PayPal. We're going to actually look some earnings from Spot, and this is actually going to be before open of the market. So these earnings are kind of like important and some expectation from especially PayPal. You may actually turn on the notifications from this website, which is known as Earning Hub. So if you go to Earning Hub, you can turn on these notifications. So what is it going to be? What is this, the estimation of the EPS as well? You can see the revenue and the EPS and some of the performances that you can expect from PayPal, Spotify, UNH, P&G. So these are like major companies. UPS as well, you may actually recognize a lot of these companies. They have their report earnings today, in my opinion, for July 29. So you may actually go on to tradingview.com, or if you just want to actually do some investment regarding the earnings as well, or take profit, maybe you're trying to trade, whatever, understand that today is the day for you to pick one of these stocks, and you can go on and you can do a technical analysis for some of these few stock out there. Another earning report is for the July 30 after the market closes, because after the market closes on July 30, today's 29, so tomorrow, the earning that you actually want to look at is going to be from one of the biggest companies out there. We're talking about Microsoft, Meta, Robinhood, we're talking about QCOM. All of these things are going to actually report their earning by tomorrow. Now, the expectation for this one is, of course, is people are expecting that we are going to see some positive estimation. So, for example, we do have 3.37 estimated here for Microsoft, which is probably $3.37 billion. And then we have 5.87 estimation for Meta, which was previously known as Facebook as well. So some positive report may actually happen on this giant technology industry. So that is another thing that you may want to see as well. And finally, on July 31, which is the last day of the month, we do have another earning report from Amazon, Apple, we have Coinbase, and so many other different companies. And Apple in particular has my interest. So let's actually go back and do visit the TA for Apple. Now we're back into the Apple chart, and this is a very important chart because Apple is maintaining this ascending triangle at the moment. If it does break up, we're going to see a 244 move up, and if it does break down, we're going to see a 185 move to the downside. So it's just a very pretty straightforward chart pattern, nothing fancy here. So do trade carefully regarding Apple. And also the news which is coming in on 31st of July can actually make a whole difference for Apple moving on forward. And if you actually try to compare, then we're actually sitting at a resistance right now, and since the earning is going to come in 2 days, my best bet is that we could actually see that news itself of the earning push Apple a little bit lower, maybe to 208 department, because of course you're sitting at this resistance. Now let's say it does actually become bullish, you could actually break the resistance and start a move and rally to the upside to that particular technical target. One more important news is going to be Powell is under pressure, according to this article from Morningstar, because according to this article that I've actually seen is that there has been a recent meeting between Trump and Powell, and Trump wants to advise Powell to actually cut the interest rate to the downside, because if you go on and you watch this interest rate chart right now, it has been climbing since 2022 from 0.33% all the way to 5.33%, and that's the reason why you have seen a huge crash in the market, especially with cryptocurrencies. Even though Bitcoin is actually back, altcoins are not back in crypto, and a lot of other stock are actually facing a lot of problem. But right now we're sitting at 4.33%, and we're going to see on Wednesday. Today is Tuesday, so tomorrow we do have another meeting with the Fed. And the thing is that we're going to actually see what happens. But according to the last comments here, when will the Fed actually cut the rates? Are they actually going to cut the rates? What is the probability they're actually going to do that? So traders see a 95% chance that the Fed leaves rate steady at its meeting next week. So basically, next week, this is an old article, but basically by tomorrow, there's a 95% chance that we will see this interest rate still being steady. That means between between 4.1 or 4.3, maybe even 4.5, maybe even it could increase, who knows, right? But the thing is, they see even a roughly 60% odds of a rate cut in September, according to the CME Fed Watch tool. So it is not a very highly likely thing that is going to happen. Even one more thing, if you read on Google here, especially when I was actually searching for some of the news, I think that if we go down and look at CNBC, judge rejects bid by Trump ally to open Fed interest rate meeting to the public. So what does that mean? Why is the judge rejecting the bid by Trump? So basically this could actually be bad news for the public, and that's the reason why they're not taking any risk to open up the whole bidding in front of the public. Because let's face it, if they're going to actually increase the interest rate, how is the public going to react? Frustrated, right? So that is an early call that this could actually not be good, but who knows? When the news comes out, we're going to see how the interest rate is going to change. Commodity prices remain volatile, and when we talk about commodity, one thing that is coming in mind right now is gold. So gold is strengthening, according to gold. Trump is trying to strengthen the US dollar. And this is another article from investing.com, because one of the plan for Trump is that he prefers that he wants to keep the US dollar stronger. At the same time, he will deal with the Middle East, China, and Russia before the trade tariff deadline of August 1st. We already have seen Europe agreeing to the 15% tariff. And we're going to talk about two things in general after reading this one. So I want to do a technical analysis, first of all. And the number one is going to be for gold. And the second one is going to, of course, be for the tariff. Okay, we're actually going to look at euro to USD after the news between US and Europe. So first of all, let's go back and let's actually check gold. So that's going to be XAU to USD. Gold, in my opinion, is actually making another climb to the upside. So a little bit of a move on the daily time frame here, and we do have a maximum time probably until September to see what gold is going to do. So you're moving up, coming down like this, and of course, if you do make the break, you're going to see a move of 12%. So this 12% is basically going to be top to bottom, and that's going to be moved to the upside. 12% breakdown, you could see a 12% drop down to 3001, and the deadline is going to be 9 September. On the other hand, I used to do a analysis on gold previously on the monthly time frame. This is a monthly time frame. We did have this rounded bottom, and the rounded bottom actually broke out, and we saw a move from top to bottom here, and we've seen a technical target that has been made, but gold has been a little bit overextended here, and in my opinion, this is going to get gold a little bit tired right now. And we do have two dojis. So the past month, which was June and May, actually closed in a decisive doji, not knowing what to do. But normally when you have dojis like this, it actually means that you can start to move to the downside. But what I would say is wait until September and we'll see what happens. If you continue, amazing. If you fall down, well, it's 12% either side, and a lot of people are speculating that gold can actually go on and move even to maybe $4,000. And when I speak of $4,000 of gold, this is actually a Fidelity International prediction that they think gold price could reach $4,000 per ounce next year. So there's a lot of information and news out there that supports this idea that Fidelity is coming up with the idea that gold is so bullish that next year it will probably touch $4,000 as one of the peak or one of the technical target out there. Now let's go on and actually try to search for euro to USD. So if we actually do a technical analysis on euro to USD, it's a pretty straightforward TA. So one thing that was happening previously is that we did see an amazing inverse head and shoulder where euro had this left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder, and this was the breakout of this inverse head and shoulder. You broke out of it and you actually met the technical target, and you just continue to move to the upside. Now if you have noticed this, or if you didn't, then for your information, this has been a one-touch support move up, another support right here, and then eventually you broke to the downside and you went up for the retest. And what a perfect entry this could have been with a stop above just that pattern here, and eventually you have started to go to the downside. So what can happen is that maybe we could see euro to USD moving a little bit more lower to $1.1 from 1.15. Or especially what I saw is, I think on the weekly time frame here, and the weekly time frame shows that there is one level of support that in my opinion can actually come and act as a big price stopper, and that's going to be this trend line. As you can see, the resistance that was broken on the weekly, so you had almost this resistance here, the resistance over there, and coming down to 1.13 makes some sense, and from here you could actually start to move back up again. So 1.13, the worst you can do is maybe go down to 1.14, because that's also another place of support. So you have this one trend line support, the second trend line support. So keep an eye and trade safely, trade according to what you think is best for your strategy. Now, lastly, one of the news that I actually came across is going to be Cambodia and Thailand war. So basically, Cambodia and Thailand have been fighting for quite some time. And finally, we can actually see there's a ceasefire that's taking effect between Thailand and Cambodia after 5-day border battle. So basically, right now, I think that some of the people are being returned to their places. As you can see, that over 300,000 people have actually been dispatched after efforts by Malaysia, chair of the ASEAN regional bloc, the United States and China to bring both sides to the table. The two country leaders agreed during talks and to end the hostilities, resume direct communication, create a mechanism to implement the ceasefire. So right now, thank goodness, things have actually cooled down. In my opinion, a lot of people have been wanting, Trump to also bring in peace, act as a someone who's going to bring in peace between two countries, just like he did with India and Pakistan couple of weeks ago, when things were getting a little bit more dangerous out there. So these are some of the news out there that can actually bring an influence. So we have big earnings coming up from big companies as well. We've seen some few technical analyses here as well, and one of the best setups I think is going to be euro to USD once it actually comes down, or maybe another setup that I think I saw is going to be I think it was oil or something. So we're actually going to check oil as well, which is CL1, and oil also is losing a trend line on the weekly time frame, and it's trying to regain that trend line. As you can see, this is the trend line that it's actually losing on the weekly time frame. So it does look like a dangerous pattern, and if we go with the weekly logic, then oil is looking to maybe crash down. But I would actually say it is a big if, but it does look as if this was a huge descending triangle, and well, of course it does look like a descending triangle, and it is a descending triangle, which if oil doesn't make it above 81, then in my opinion oil is going to actually crash down based on the charts, which could be 35 level. So that's it for this update, and let's see you with the next one.